I suppose the only thing worse than being a Jet fan today is being that guy. Or maybe being a Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't know. 12.5, 13-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals. 5 trips to the red zone, only 1 touchdown. The late interception is first of the year. But it's got to be the media's fault, right? First off, the media kisses the Cowboys' rear end frequently. I don't know who in the media was rooting for this to happen. I'm sure everybody across the board, maybe you were, kind of thought this was an easy W. And the look-ahead game was next week's game against New England before that, collision course between them and San Francisco. But look, here's the reality of the Dallas Cowboys defensively yesterday. What was supposed to be the best defense, arguably, in football, since the Jets clearly are not the best defense. Only one team yesterday gave up more yards per down. And that was the Denver Broncos.
Gave up 70 points.
Yeah, so the point is the Dallas Cowboys, amazing defense, embarrassed themselves against an offense that you can't name a star on.
Not only that, and first of all, Dak Prescott, excuse us for us holding you to high standards.
Right.
That's nuts. When you talk about this defense that gave up 188 yards in the first half of football, that means you didn't come off the bus. That means you were still in the hotel sleeping.
Yeah.
And if you're supposed to be the Dallas Cowboys, who we think are Super Bowl contenders, you don't lose to the Arizona Cardinals in that fashion. So when you talk about Dak Prescott making that comment, I'm baffled by it because I'm just like, if anything, you wear it and own it and play up to the standard.
And I think the same thing. I think the Cowboys read all their clippings. I think the Cowboys
I think they still do.
Everybody said to a man, when you win your first 2 games by a score of 70-10, the 40-0 blowout of the Giants, the 30-10 blowout of the Jets, you start feeling yourself a little bit. You start flexing. You start peacocking around. Oh, we play the Cardinals.
That's right.
Oh, we're not worried about the Cardinals. And then you forgot that the Cardinals get paid too.
And we've all seen upsets in football. A lot of times it's sort of a fluke thing. This was not a fluke. This was consistent first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, both sides of the ball. Every time the Cowboys were going to the sidelines, you'd see CeeDee Lamb frustrated, walking over to the sidelines. And Micah Parsons was the MVP. We were talking about him being potentially the MVP last week, and they used his strengths against him. They ran at him, they ran counters, doubled him.
And here's the question for you off of what Jacoby just said. 400 yards of offense against that vaunted Cowboy defense, and they ran for 222.
Yep.
So the obvious question now is, have we figured the Cowboy defense out? Have they figured out the Cardinals? Have they set the blueprint now for the rest of the NFL of how to counter Micah Parsons' speed and also defeat that defense by running it down their throats?
Well, I made the comment last week. There's 2 ways to walk in the room. Either you're the king or you don't give a damn about the king. The Arizona Cardinals didn't give a damn about the king, and that was Michael Parsons. When you're able to neutralize a pass rusher, one thing you do a great job of, we see it right here. This is Michael Parsons at his position. This is a single back formation. This is James Conner. Freeze it right here if you can. Boom. Bottom line is, They did a great job of going at Micah Parsons to a toe that he wasn't able to handle. It was the volume. They didn't run away from where he could chase things from the backside. They didn't care where he was at. They just ran it at him and went downhill. When you're able to do that as an offensive line, that's you showing no fear. So I'm not mad at the Dallas Cowboys for locking up. They all understand that the Arizona Cardinals did a great job of saying, hey, one way to beat them is going at them, and they did it yesterday.
Yeah, 222 yards. Now, I don't think much of this had to do even with the absence of Diggs. Because, again, he's not going to be a part of the run game defense at all. He's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20 yards down the field, covering whatever wide receiver he has. So I think you've now laid out a blueprint. Now, the Cowboys' job this week, of course, getting ready for New England, is to figure out why do we allow that to happen, right? New England's going to be feeling good about themselves, having beaten the Jets, getting back in it, save their season 1-2. And, San Francisco's out there looming, but I'm very disappointed in the Dallas Cowboys, which is why here we are 3 weeks in, and as much as I want to, I can't trust the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, you can't trust the Dallas Cowboys because every time I kept waiting for them to come back and win the game. It just kept waiting for it to happen. They would move the ball down the field, get in the red zone, stall. Get in the red zone again, stall.
Yeah.
Get in the red zone again, stall. It just happened over and over and over again.
And they were riddled with penalties. They had 13 penalties. That's not any indicative that this team was ready to play yesterday, and it shows that they were clearly overlooking the Arizona Cardinals.
It also shows me that all the rhetoric that came out of the Jones family more than anybody else about Dak Prescott was a little premature. Because Dak Prescott had opportunity after opportunity, as you're pointing out, Jacoby, 5 red zone trips, 1 touchdown, and an interception in the end zone. And I'm saying to myself, man, he had it going good. 70-10 after 2
weeks.
weeks.
It shows you the impact that Tavon Diggs had in that secondary. There was miscues all over the place. I know he's one man, and I know he's the lead bell cow in that secondary. For the simple fact, the way they look in that secondary to even defend, we talk about Joshua Dobbs, man. This dude it should be a rocket scientist. He shouldn't even be in the NFL. But they made this dude look like Warren Moon yesterday. He picked them apart, and he was able to use his legs. The Cardinals aren't rolling over for anybody. So wake up, NFL. When you go to Arizona, you got to fight ahead.
Think about just real quick, and I would never talk about the Cardinals on this show for good reason. Nobody cares about them. But they should have beaten Washington in week 1, and they had a 20-point lead at halftime against the Giants in week 2.
And they got after the Cowboys.
And they beat the Cowboys.
And they got after the Cowboys in the line of scrimmage. You turn on that tape, that offensive line got after those Cowboys up front.
Well, listen, college football happened this weekend as well. It's funny because I don't hear much about Deion Sanders at all.
Oh, yeah.
That
makes you giddy.
I love it.
That makes you giddy.
But Jacoby's got a couple quick tidbits from Saturday, and then we'll get back to all NFL, but go right ahead as we go back to school.
Moving on to the one that Craig wanted to discuss ever since it happened, and that was the absolute drubbing, the dominance that Oregon had over Colorado. Much like Colorado coming into this one.
Yeah, listen, they were 20-point underdogs, to be fair. Oregon did what it's supposed to do, but the Colorado kids were defacing the logo at midfield before the game. One Colorado kid ripped the headband off a fan minding his own business after the game, and all of a sudden, I don't hear all those celebrities out there talking all that smack about Coach Prime. You got embarrassed, and you're going to get embarrassed again Saturday against USC. You're going to be 2-3, and that's a reality.
What pissed me off about the whole walking on the logo thing, this is the same thing they got mad at Colorado State for, is walking on their logo, kind of disrespecting the Buffalo. Now here goes Colorado walking into Oregon doing the same thing, and now they got their heads pounded in. So I'm baffled by what happened Saturday, because I actually thought Colorado was going to play better. I thought Shedeur Sanders was going to be better.
You bought into it.
I did. I drank all of it.
You bought into a lousy defense, a lousy offensive line, and average talent across the board. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.